hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wylde, and Jesse Blake.
Gonna be a doozy today.
Hey guys, is there anything better than beating the Leafs? Yes, winning the Stanley Cup. Yes, winning, doing anything relevant ever. Yes, not embarrassing Canada on an international stage by diving all the time.
Stop.
You friggin' loser.
Stop.
What a loser thing to say.
Okay, all right.
Just before the show, I discovered that clip is real, and I honest to God can't believe it.
Okay.
How
they beat my hockey
embarrassing.
team.
How
And the other team is
embarrassing.
happy they beat me.
Oh,
and
so
they're
embarrassing.
celebrating. Oh, no.
They think he's a loser. Play the clip. They didn't react. The Winnipeg Jets think Mark Scheifele's a loser, and I'm going to believe that until they show me otherwise.
No, let's...
What a loser.
Adam,
Oh
where
my
are we
God.
actually starting?
Where are we starting?
Well, I'd just like to put in a quick word that the Chris Johnson show comes out today.
Yeah.
As does Alan Walsh, actually, will come out tomorrow. We're doing a little record today. If you've logged onto the Discord, and I'm trying to sound as NBR as possible here.
Yeah.
If you've logged on to the Discord and you've left us a question, Alan Walsh might be answering some of your questions.
Like
We're
in
doing
the
a-
Discord?
We're doing well, not in the Discord. No, he's
That'd
going
be
to do
cool.
it on the episode. Yeah. I know, isn't that cool?
I was like, that's bad for content.
It was.
Why would you do that?
It was time. No, we could
What's
listen.
better than Alan Walsh answering questions?
Well, I mean, he even caused a dust up this morning in Edmonton. I don't know if you saw.
I noticed.
Saw the thought.
What's better than a dust up?
Oh, it's good.
Yeah.
You know what? There was a few dust ups with Winnipeg last night, but that's not where we're going to start. I know you want to hit Winnipeg. I know.
Well, I didn't really, and then I saw that clip.
Can you make sure, Jesse, you have that clip?
I got it all
Okay,
ready
we'll
to go, but-
we'll pull that for. We are going to hit the Leafs in
Well,
Winnipeg.
I promise you, I spend 0% of my day thinking about the Winnipeg Jets.
Okay.
I'd so much
It
rather
doesn't
talk about
sound
the
like
Vancouver
that.
Canucks.
It sounds
I'd
like
rather-
the complete
sound bothered.
opposite, Steve.
You sound bothered. You
No,
sound bothered.
I'm bothered I'm bothered that imagine if some random basketball show was just like, what's better than getting more listenership than the Steve Dangle podcast? What? I don't fucking think of you. We don't have a rivalry. Go away.
I don't know.
Who are you?
It sounds like you're doing a lot of thinking.
Jesse,
What a loser.
the studio
What a
LED lights
loser.
are not on. I just want to let you know. So we gotta get the light up here. If we're gonna light Steve up like a Christmas tree, gotta light up the studio too.
There you go.
No, I'd so much rather talk about the Canucks firing their coach and GM. I'd rather talk about the Flyers firing their coaching staff. There's potential suspensions coming down. I'd rather talk about that so much more than some random fucking team from the Western Conference.
Wow, is that what they're referred
You
to as
sound
now?
so bothered.
Yeah.
I am bothered. What a loser.
He
No.
beat our team.
I don't know. Are we starting here? We might as I don't know.
No,
What are
no.
we doing?
No, I think we're coming back to this.
No, the Canucks fired their coach and
There's-
GM.
there's
You
the
can't not
tease.
start
There's
with
the
that.
That's the tease. I will get into it. We'll
There's
get
the
into
tease.
it. I hope you can bring this fire in again in a little bit here. But we're gonna have some fun first. Here's the
Sure.
thing, man. Okay, so first off, I can't remember a time where we found out about the next GM before the first one was gone, or the next coach before the first one was gone.
Yes.
And then everybody's going, well, is Jim Benning safe? How did Travis Green take the fall for this when it's Jim Benning that put the team together? And then we find out in a subsequent tweet from Elliot Friedman that the change had occurred Sunday afternoon. It had not been announced yet. He beat everybody to the punch, as he do. And honestly, like, I was talking to Steve on the phone about something completely different on Saturday. And I said, did you see the Canucks game? Did you see the Canucks game?
No.
And you said no. And I said, did you see Travis Green after the last goal went in? And there was a shot of him. And I mean, it's you could
Is there
change.
a photo?
Oh, it's floating around on the
Yeah.
internet somewhere, but it's been buried. You know, it's Travis Green. It's like the emoji with the flat mouth and the flat, like like just almost like it looks like his bottom jaw wants to swallow the top of his head. Like he's just upset. And it's just it's the look of exasperation. Like, I cannot do this anymore. And I remember, and I said to Steve on Saturday, I'm like, I don't know how they're going to keep doing this. I don't know how they're going to keep doing this. That picture said it all. That picture is defeat. That picture is, I just don't know what the fuck to do with this.
Yeah, there's been something that I've fundamentally disagreed with Elliot Friedman on over the course of the last month. Because, you know, he was making fun of himself on 32 Thoughts today. I was listening. Basically, he's getting texts from people like, oh, who are you going to talk about today? Let me guess, the Canucks? But, like, they've had probably the most hockey-related drama this entire season.
Yep.
But what I've disagreed with him on is, well, I mean, you can't make a rash decision. You can't just, the fans booed? You can't fire someone because the fans booed.
He's right about that. You can't.
Yeah, but what I think he misunderstood is, yeah, you absolutely can.
Mhm.
It's Vancouver. You absolutely can. And what I think ownership completely underestimated is that the fans aren't booing because they're a bunch of angry piss babies. They're booing because they're absolutely right and have been for years. This is a victory for Vancouver Canucks fans. A guy who shouldn't have been GM a long time ago is no longer GM. He didn't get to make the decision to fire the coach because he didn't deserve it. And the Aquilinis, I think, got a rather rude wake-up call. And they weren't able to ride 2 wins against non-factor teams into Christmas. We beat... what's better than beating the Senators?
The 4-win
and
Senators.
Habs?
Yeah.
What a loser mentality. You see how that's a loser mentality that the owners were carrying into that situation, and they come back home and Canucks fans let them know. No, actually, we're not impressed in the slightest with your back-to-back regular season wins against teams that are garbage. And they booed, chanted fired Benning, threw jerseys on the ice. We can argue about whether or not that's polite and professional and all that.
Can I tell you that it works?
It works.
So it's worked 3 times this year. Maple Leafs, jersey thrown on the ice. They go on a crazy tear in the month of November.
Isn't that
Montreal
unreal?
Canadiens, jersey thrown on the ice. Bergevin gets fired. Vancouver Canucks, jersey on the ice. Benning and Travis Green get fired. Jerseys on the ice are the most effective way to get somebody fired or get somebody fired up in the case of the Leafs this season. It's worked 3 times in 3 Canadian markets. It's crazy.
I think jerseys getting thrown on the ice are a symptom, right? Rather than the cause. Like, it's the one thing everyone focuses on.
And it works.
It's unbelievable that the Leafs, they literally just had their best month ever.
because of the jersey.
Yeah. It looks awful,
Because
and it
of the
works.
jersey.
Because of the jersey.
Yeah.
No, it's, they're right. You can't beat thousands and thousands and thousands of people when they're right.
Okay, so my question then is, just as an aside, there was a lot of, and I fucking hate, I get that sometimes people hate my opinions or whatever, but I fucking hate when members of the media go after fans for throwing jerseys on the ice. I fucking hate that. No. Now, let me tell you why. If you watch any sport anywhere else in the world, that's just a fact of life. And the second thing is, it's like, oh, respect the jersey. I mean, you can, honest to God, the fans, the ones that have to watch this shit, the ones that still give the TV shows ratings, that give the radio shows listeners, that give the video players on sports websites video views, despite the fact that the team has been going nowhere for 8 years, and you're going to go, that's really unprofessional of them.
No.
What other way do they have to voice their displeasure other than shit tweeting your social media people on Twitter?
They're also not there to be professionals.
No!
They don't work for anybody.
Stop it. Now,
They're
do
fans.
I want there to be like an enormous amount of, oh, you got to protect the crest. Fuck off. I'm paying this team. This team doesn't pay me. Are you kidding me?
It's also what's behind it. Are you some dumbass that didn't consider the consequences of your actions? All right, well, you're a dumbass for throwing your jersey on the ice. Are you saying, F this team, kick me out, I don't care, I never want to come back anyway? Oh, I got a lot of respect for that. I actually do have a lot of respect for that. And Adam nails it, by the way, with the soccer, or shall we call it football, or shall we call it fitba, because my Scottish in-laws from Scotland, from Aberdeen, we're the famous Aberdeen. Anyway, from there, they think this is hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
These discussions about they think this stuff is so funny.
It's the most conservative, like literally Protestant North American shit I've ever heard in my life. It's like, we can't drink on Sundays, we can't shop on Sundays, and damn it, by gosh damn it.
They start literal fires in the stands in a lot of soccer
and
places.
MLS.
They put flares on the field.
Yeah, literal fires.
TFC, who is in MLS, like, which is so much more tame than anything in Europe or South America or anywhere. It's so much more tame. They were even like, okay, so you can't throw things on the field. And the thousands of fans said, oh, throw more things on the field and make sure they're like lit? Cool. And they just did that. Oh, throw a smoke bomb onto the field? Don't mind if I do. Oh, you don't want me to. How about here's 3 more for you? Yeah. They don't care. I told this story before. I went to a game in Scotland. It was Aberdeen versus Hearts. And my father-in-law brought me. It was just me and him. And he sat us right next to picture this. I need you to picture this. Mm-hmm. Imagine last night, Leafs-Jets. There was a specific blocked off section in Winnipeg for Leafs fans. So it's all Jets fans, but there's a specific blocked off section for Leafs fans, and it's blocked off from the rest of everybody else with a chain link fence. That's what it was. You go to Pittodrie in Aberdeen, there's a chain link fence keeping home fans away from the visiting fans. And they are screaming, and the insults have never heard. And I'm like, there's children here. And then you look and the children are doing this and friggin' they're swearing too and flipping everybody off and giving the wanker. And I realized my father-in-law did not want to see a football match that day. He wanted to see me.
Right, and watch your reaction to this.
He was yelling abuse at the field too, but far more often than watching soccer, he would just look at me and be like,
but here's what people will come back with, right? Whenever I bring up this example, I always get somebody in my inbox going, hey, and it's always somebody that doesn't follow me that's like, hey, I don't like your opinion and I'm going to DM you because I'm too much of a wimp to tweet it publicly. And what they'll do is they'll tweet and they'll say, it'll be, I'm totally fine with it.
No, you have to wear it for having your DMs open like a psychopath.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So the thing is always, well, is the whole, do you want hockey to become European soccer where people can get hurt?
Successful? Oh,
yeah. Well, I think we're a long way from that. That's called a slippery slope argument, and there's a lot of reasons why that won't happen. What it comes back to with the jerseys on the ice is when the fans feel cornered and they feel like there's nothing that they can do to voice their displeasure. How many times do you have to chant fire Benning? How many times do you have to watch a lackluster group take the ice? How many disastrous July 1sts do you need? How many terrible calls into radio station? What do you need to do to get the attention of ownership when everybody else in the league knows, and you know, that this is over? What do you need to do? So at the very last second, at the very last thing Canucks fans did was they threw the jersey on, one guy threw a jersey on the ice. And people go, wow, that's just so not classy. Fuck off.
You know, it's crazy how many jerseys were thrown on the ice in Tampa this year and in Florida and in Anaheim, who's playing above expectations. You know, the good teams don't have jerseys thrown on the ice.
Why is that, Jesse?
Because maybe there's only jerseys thrown on the ice in situations where fans feel like they have no more hope. Yeah. And this is all they can do.
I do want to put an asterisk on the Leafs jersey that was thrown this season. They had just blown a 3-1 lead in the playoffs, and fans weren't allowed to throw jerseys then. And then they started the season poorly. Mm-hmm. And, well, yeah. So that one was left over. That was a unique situation.
Justified at the time.
It was...
That fan did the right thing.
I don't know if that one was justified.
Jersey motivated the Leafs to go on their best November run ever.
I thought it was a loser move. I
thought it helped the Leafs to their greatest month ever.
I'm not a huge fan of the throwing anything on the ice unless it's the teddy bear toss, and that's very fun.
What about the Wafflegate?
That was so bizarre. Luke Shen had the best take on that. He was like, how did he get them? I don't think we sell waffles, so how did they get them in the building?
I liked that too, because it was so deep. It was such a deep reference. If you throw a jersey, you know what the display, but it's like you have to think about, why do you throw waffle? Wake up and smell breakfast? Is that what
was that it?
That was what it was.
Oh, no, God. I thought it was because they waffled, which is like apparently not playing well, or like it's when you look up like waffling.
Yeah, I know. No, you said the correct definition.
And I know that did an 85-year-old man throw them on the ice? Like
the other thing was there was a way back in the day somebody threw toast on the ice at the ACC, and it was sort of like wake up and fucking like smell the coffee, that sort of thing, okay. You know that. But it's like, again, it's such a deep reference. It's so weird.
Yeah, I thought that would have been was it Nonus's toaster? thing that happened in
Randy Carlyle.
Carlisle's toaster game.
They throw an entire toaster.
No, I think, believe it or not, the toast. I believe the toast was Ron Wilson days. I believe.
No, that was when it got thrown on the ice.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know.
I don't remember.
No,
it.
Carlisle was obviously the toaster thing in the HBO show.
Yeah.
But when the toast was thrown on the ice, I think it was like 2011.
Yeah, I don't.
Anyway, it's crazy. Now, so am I advocating for people throwing shit on the ice? No. But the only thing I want to see thrown on the ice is the teddy bear toss and the hat. I like when you have your hat. When you have your hat trick hat. That's great.
Yeah.
But sometimes, if you want to take the good, you're going to have to take the bad. And when you ignore the market for 8 years and keep somebody who should not have been in charge, I don't even put this at Travis Green's feet. I know people are mad at him.
No.
What was he going to do with that roster? People are like, oh, they're way more talented than... I don't actually believe necessarily that they are.
And another little wrinkle in all that, he just got extended.
Yeah.
That's how
They didn't want to fire
rudderless
him.
this team is.
They didn't want to fire him.
This is how rudderless this team is.
Okay, you want to talk rudderless?
I don't remember the fire Green chance.
No, I don't. Well, but I still think people were mad at him. Here's what it is. Ryan Kennedy from the Hockey News reporting today that Marc Bergevin is among the leading candidates to take over the Vancouver Canucks job.
The only reason a team wins the Stanley Cup every year is because someone has to. It's a bad league. Bad league.
The Canucks and Montreal Canadiens have a lot in common over the last 8 years. They have a lot in common.
Yeah.
In that they haven't done much.
Montreal Canadiens went to the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah,
they rode Carey Price like a pony.
But you can't say they haven't done much when 6 months ago they were in the Stanley Cup final.
The Canucks made it to the second round.
The Habs' average season over the last X amount of years is good. Their median season over the last X amount of years is bad.
Sure.
Yes.
It's like they had, out of the last 7, they had 5 awful seasons and 2 really good ones.
Yeah.
Like it's very, very odd.
They have done things.
They have done things. They haven't been completely irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But
Yeah.
so what? How do you go from LA to the Canucks just like that?
What do you mean?
Well,
For Bergevin.
Bergevin, like he was going to be with the Kings, and
Well, because the GM job wasn't open.
Was it Rob Blake?
I think Rob Blake's the GM. He was going to be an AGM, wasn't he? Unless Rob Blake's getting promoted.
I don't know. Well, it's such a change in attitude. Montreal, I can't do this anymore, and I'm gonna step back a little bit. Actually, I want to be the GM of a really big Canadian team still.
Yeah, the whole idea was that he was fed up of Montreal because of the market, and he's gonna go to a just as crazy market.
Yeah, I don't know if
I'm really excited for.
I don't know if I can do this anymore, and I think I just want to relax and go to the beach. And actually, no, I want to go where it's raining all the time and people are chanting and throwing shit on the ice.
Yo,
where did that come from?
I respect the hell out of Canucks fans. You've been patient. You've been really patient. And, you know, I heard a clip this morning. Oh, my God. And again,
they're really funny.
It's a radio clip. No, it was a radio clip. But somebody was like, I guess when the Canucks were doing well, somebody was like, well, fire betting sheet. We should be chanting, thank you, betting.
Like, seriously?
Not recently. It was a long time ago. But it was just one of those where it's like, oh, my God. Here's the thing. On this show, I can tell you from the beginning, because we started about a year before Benning started with the Canucks, and we got the tail end of the Mike Gillis era.
Yep.
And I remember when Benning was hired, and from the beginning, we have not been fans of what Benning's done.
No,
not a single, not the draft picks, not the signings, nothing. And Canucks fans have given a shit for it. And then eventually, you slowly started to see them kind of come around. I've been on this bandwagon since the beginning. This guy was not cut out for this. He's a good drafting general manager, but let's not pretend that his draft record was perfect. And people are like, well, he found Pettersson. Okay, well, like everybody knew Pettersson was going to be pretty good. And here's what I think. The one thing that I will give the Aquilinis credit for here. Bruce Boudreau is really good with offensive players. And Pettersson needs a guy who's gonna jack his confidence up. That team is going to live or die, like any team does, by their best player, and he's their best player.
I didn't realize how much of a story it was that Pettersson is playing the least amount of ice time that he's played his entire career, and that Travis Green is like putting him down in the lineup, and that now that Bruce Boudreau is in there, he's actually going to play him. I didn't realize that was a huge narrative.
See, okay, so maybe that's the problem with Travis Green. Why do you like it was like when they put Marner on the fourth line in Toronto. And I know
it wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad, but it was like
it was also for like 2 games.
Yeah, he had a couple bad shifts, so we're gonna put him on the fourth line. And I don't know what. Okay, so Pettersson is struggling over 25 games, right? That's what we're into this.
It's too many.
And he's coming off the worst year of his career because of injury.
Yes, yeah. And so first off, I want to know what his health status is. Like, how much over this injury is he? Because with hockey players, you never know.
Right.
Sure.
The other thing I want to know is, tell me how that helps his confidence. And not saying that it can't, because sometimes I remember when I was like in radio, if you're not feeling good that day, keep your breaks a little bit shorter, because especially at the beginning of your career, because if you go too hard, you can potentially fuck up, and then it's going to make it worse, and you'll be in a bit of a tailspin about it, right? Your confidence lives or dies by every break when you're in your young career. I'm wondering, because
you can remember every break.
You can, yeah, 100%. So Pettersson, I'm wondering, is like, okay, are we putting him down in the lineup so the competition's easier, so the ice time's less, so there's less he needs to do? Or are we simplifying the game? At the end of the day, you can do that for a couple games, like with Marner, but you can't sustain that over 25.
No.
This is Pettersson. He needs to be he needs to be playing with the top guys, whether he can play or not.
He's the guy. He is the top guy.
He's the guy.
This is the thing. It's not he needs to be playing with the top guys. He's the top guy. Like, the comparison, if we're doing the Leafs here, isn't Marner, it's Matthews.
Yes.
So if Matthews is struggling, he's not going down to the third line to figure it out. He's got to be.
No, he's going to be out there struggling.
Yeah, and I think Travis Green, in that respect, forgot what they were trying to do. Like, oh yeah, we're trying to win hockey games, and he wasn't giving me the best opportunity to win hockey games. No, the best opportunity for your franchise to win hockey games long term is Elias Pettersson is your best player and playing like a top 10 forward in this league or a top 20 forward in this league. He's an elite player when he's on. He's very obviously not on. Now, there's been a lot of focus put on Pettersson.
And just for context, this is what I was talking about beforehand when I was talking about his ice time. So on Wednesday, this is before Green is fired, he plays 13:31 Wednesday versus Ottawa.
Just scratch him.
That's the 7th most even strength minutes among Canucks forwards. It followed 13:13 versus Montreal last Monday, and then 13:05 versus Boston.
What's he supposed to do?
He's supposed to be out there for 19 minutes a night. Hey, also, he's been on the third line with Dowling and Höglander. Yeah,
Höglander's good. I like
he's been their third line center when he's playing those 13 minutes.
So what's he supposed to do? Just go out there, throw the body, and stay above the puck? Like, what's his job?
That's Travis Green not getting it. And remember, I said those 2 games didn't fucking matter. He would probably be like, "Well, we won. We righted the ship. We got 2 wins." No. It also matters how you win them, especially in November, December. For God's sake, if you can't trust Pettersson to play big minutes, imagine how the narrative potentially changes if you play Pettersson 20 minutes against the Habs and the Sens, who both stink, and he gets a goal in each game. He gets 2 goals in each game. He maybe has 3 points in each game, something like that. Imagine, no, you put the focus on you because you look like an idiot for doing something that is dumb. Like, it's dumb. It's dumb. There's no situation where playing Pettersson that much is smart.
You have a guy out there for 7 minutes less than he should be.
Yeah, and now Bruce Boudreau, by the way, he's the first person to come in to the Vancouver Canucks organization and have an easy job in several years. Because, all right, I got it. Stop me if this is too wild. I'm the new guy. I'm going to play our best players the most.
It's all right? Such an easy fix.
Here we go. And then Pettersson's going to get hotter. And Besser's going to get hotter. And underrated and all this, everyone's talking about because they focus on Ovechkin. Oh, it's going to be Pettersson. It's going to be Besser. Quinn Hughes. Does no one remember Mike Green? Mike Green was disgusting for a period of time in the NHL. He scored 30 goals as a defenseman. How's that allowed? It's not. They didn't let him on Team Canada. It's not allowed. They said, you're too good. We want to make these Olympics a challenge. And then it was close, and they won. But if they had Mike Green, it wouldn't have been. If you look at some of the roster decisions on that Team Canada, you'd be like, how did they win?
What year?
But in 2010.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, no Stamkos. Like, no. Anyway.
No. The old guy.
No, he's
No.
too young.
Yeah.
No, I want the olds. So
That's why they lost 2006, by the way. They had, like, Yzerman on half a hip. It was fucking... It was one of the... They didn't bring Crosby, and, like, it was terrible.
Yeah, they were old, too.
Yeah.
No, but sorry. The other thing there with Boudreau is I just said it's the easiest job ever.
Play your best players.
It still is, though. Because what if he plays his best players and they lose?
He's like, it's their fault.
It's the players. Yeah. Then it becomes the players. It's not Bruce. He just got there. He just got there. That dude is known for two things. Having his teams play really well in the regular season and having them score a shitload of goals. Why isn't he in Toronto yet? Again, he's the perfect Leaf. Just like Kadri. He's great in the regular season, and where is he in the playoffs?
I saw a lot of that online.
He does not have a win in Game 7. Like, it's too perfect.
You brought in a guy who can't get it done in the playoffs as a coach. I'm like, just give the man a chance.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Also,
no, I know. I'm just being an asshole.
They signed him to a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
Trying to make yucks, kids. I'm trying to make some jokes.
This isn't a long-term thing.
Yeah.
And listen, maybe Pettersson, maybe his health only allows him to play that much. Maybe. I'm throwing that out there as a maybe, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense. And if that's the case, tell us. Man.
Well,
you could tell us.
It also, I would be surprised. I'd be surprised if that's the case, that after over 2 months now, it hasn't gotten out in Vancouver. You know what I mean? Or even, I don't know, owners and management, they love leaking things when it makes them look good. So, hey, I know we're losing a lot of games, but keep in mind, this isn't my fault. And you know why it's not my fault? Because this guy is actually playing hurt, as they slip you a note that says Pettersson hurt.
But
that says from not Jim Benning.
Also, when your coach is making decisions like, hey, I'm going to make JT Miller our second-line center instead of Elias Pettersson, you know, I got questions about you.
I like JT Miller a lot.
But which one's better?
Yeah.
You know, which one should you be playing higher?
Who are you living and dying by?
Yeah.
And, well, anyway, so here's the thing. I want to have some fun today.
Sorry, that's how bad Travis Green's decisions were, and they were chanting, fire the other guy.
Right.
That's how bad the other guy was.
These days, it can be hard to find the right candidates for your small business, and that's why LinkedIn Jobs makes it easier to find the people that you want to talk to, and it's faster. And here's the thing. It's free, baby. So you create a free job post in minutes on LinkedIn Jobs to reach your network and beyond on the world's largest professional network of over 770 million people. I'm even on it. You can add me. That's right, me. I'm wearing a purple shirt. Seriously, look it up. Focus on candidates with the right skill and experience, and use the screening questions to get your role filled with the most qualified people, because you want to make the hire once, not multiple different times. Then you use simple tools like LinkedIn Jobs to quickly filter and prioritize who you want to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus its leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find candidates worth interviewing faster. And did you know that every single week, nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/NHL show. That's linkedin.com/NHL show to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Listen, let's talk about internet privacy for a minute. We're all a little worried, right? We know our information's being shared in places we perhaps don't want it shared. We don't know how much. We don't know who it's going to. We don't know who's looking at it. And that's why if you want to fight back against control of the internet, use ExpressVPN. If you've ever wondered how free-to-access giants get all their money, well, it's by tracking your searches, your video history, and everything you click on. But you knew that, right? They're building a profile on you, and then they're going to sell it off. So when you use ExpressVPN on the app, on your computer or your phone, you anonymize how much of your online presence is hiding your IP address. That makes activity more difficult to trace and sell to advertisers. And what's more, ExpressVPN encrypts 100% of the network data that you put out there and protects you against eavesdroppers and cybercriminals. And what you'll like the most about this is it's going to take one click to protect all your devices. That's why ExpressVPN is rated #1 by Business Insider. So let's stop allowing tech companies to just take your information and sell it to random people. This is your privacy. You should secure it. Go to expressvpn.com/STP. That's expressvpn.com/STP to get 3 extra months free with this exclusive link. Again, it's expressvpn.com/SDP to learn more.
Sorry.
So let's take us through. In honor of Jim Benning's time in Vancouver, I have for you, and there are many to sort through here, I have for you the top 5 Jim Benning greatest hits with the Vancouver Canucks organization.
Greatest hits.
I can't wait to go through the list of things that aren't on this list.
So if I walk into an HMV 5 years ago and I'm buying a box set on CD,
this will be on the 20th anniversary best of.
Yeah,
best of
Jim Benning.
Just Jim.
Okay.
Jim and Travis.
I'm excited. So I'm putting in my disc in my Walkman.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm gonna hear.
100%.
All right. Yeah. Track number 1.
All right. Well, this is actually track number 5 because we're counting down. Okay.
Right.
Counting down.
Okay.
So number 5, the Jared McCann for Eric Branson trade.
Oh, do you have the full thing?
I can look it up. Do you want it?
Because I?
Yeah.
Just if you
For
type in
Eric.
Jared McCann NHL trade tracker, that's welcome to my every summer as I make trade trees. This is what I do.
Okay, all right.
Because that was
here we go.
Huge deal for both teams.
Okay, so this is May 25th, 2016.
Wow. So he's 2 years in.
Eric Branson and a 2016 fifth-round pick from Florida to Vancouver for Jared McCann, a 2016 second-round pick, a 2016 fourth-round pick, a trade that we roundly made fun of at the time.
Dude, it's Jared McCann and a sweetener?
Yeah, please take Jared McCann. We want Eric Branson that bad, but we need you to take something to take this Jared McCann contract, this onerous Jared McCann 10-game contract off of us.
And it doesn't... Here, can you click on Jared McCann? When was he... what round was he drafted in? I know he was 2014. He was either a first or a second rounder.
24th overall.
He's a first rounder who's 20 years old.
Yeah, but Steve, Eric Branson was a third overall pick. He was a third overall pick. And despite having some of the worst analytical numbers of the analytics era, Eric Branson has made himself available to other teams. I almost said useful, but I don't think he was ever really that useful. They said he was the kind of guy that they needed to put them over the top. The toughness on the back end. What ended up happening was he just got kind of turnstile a lot. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, Jared McCann, he's been okay, but he's not been that amazing. Yes, until last season.
Well, the Panthers acquired him. The Panthers acquired him in the Computer Boys era.
Yep.
Which was something that the Panthers stuck to for exactly 6 months before abandoning the plan altogether. And so then Jared McCann is in this situation where people in his own organization are actively rooting against him. Mm-hmm. Gee, I wonder why he's such a late bloomer. You know?
He's finally had some support.
It doesn't make any sense. Well, and it's not like, guys, this wasn't surprising this season. It's not surprising that he's doing well with Seattle. We all knew it. He's been good for a few years. The Pittsburgh Penguins were like, hey, Jared, do you want to come play hockey for us? And he said, do you actually want me to play hockey for you? Or do you want me to kind of show up and put on the jersey and skate around, but you hate me the entire time? And they said, no, we want you to come and play hockey for us and do well. You want me to do well? Well, yeah, because your success is our success. You're the first person who's ever said that to me. We know, Jared, we know. Anyway, welcome to Pittsburgh. It's the wildest thing. The wildest thing, and everyone who slammed that deal at the time was absolutely right. And Jim Benning was fired soon after. Half a decade later. Sorry, I misread the cue card. Sorry, 5.5 years later, he was fired.
Did we mention, when the whole Leafs Jared McCann thing happened, did we mention that McCann is a Sioux Greyhound?
Oh, did we, Jesse?
Okay. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we did.
Number 4, the trade for and signing of Brandon Sutter. The trade, if you remember it, and this happened again right around just a year before the Eric Branson trade.
Actually, I don't remember this trade.
The Brandon Sutter trade is interesting. Vancouver Canucks got Brandon Sutter in a 2016 third-round pick. Now, Brandon Sutter, that was it wasn't mid-season, but he'd come off like a 20-goal season, done pretty well. The Canucks gave up Nick Bonino Adam Clendenning, and a 2016 second round pick.
Ooh!
Now, then, and this is what makes it even worse, Brandon Sutter, 5 years, $21.85 million. That's $4.357 million per year. At the time, comparisons to Patrice Bergeron were made.
I remember this, yes.
Benning said, listen, I don't want to compare him to Patrice Bergeron, but from my time in Boston, Sutter's the kind of guy you win with. Like Bergeron, the kind of guy you win with. So maybe he wasn't Patrice Bergeron, but maybe he was like 50 to 60% of Patrice Bergeron. Let me throw this at you. I'm just going to throw a random stat at you. It's called goals. Have you heard of it? In the same time frame we're talking about, 16, 17 to now, Bergeron has 115 goals. Sutter's got 49.
Bro, you really can.
And he made like $2 million less.
You can ride a Stanley Cup for exactly 10 years.
You can.
10 years.
Yeah. Number 3. I think you'll be surprised to see this so low on the list. Louis Eriksson.
Oh, boy.
6 years. $36 million. And that's not all, friends. A no-movement clause. Full no-move in the first 2 years. The second 2, well, a no-trade clause. And the next 2, a modified NTC. And let us not forget that most of the deal was paid out in bonuses. Can I read them to you?
Sure.
Because they're fun. His bonus, $7 million. Next year, $7 million. Next year, $6 million. Next year, $4 million. Next year, $3 million. And then this year, with the Coyotes, $1 million. And here's the best part. This contract was essentially buyout proof until this season. His base salary the entire time has been $1 million until this year where it's $3 million.
Oh, my.
Do you give Jim Benning credit for getting rid of the deal?
No, because I don't think he made life easier on the next guy by bringing in Oliver Ekman-Larsson's boat anchor.
But he got rid of that number 3 on the list deal.
He did.
He traded Louis Eriksson in the 1 year where Canucks fans were content having Louis Eriksson on the
which
team.
is the last year.
All right.
And for more expensive defending Louis Eriksson.
Yeah.
With a worse contract.
Yeah.
It's just
Hold on.
No creativity.
Wait till you hit this. Okay, ready?
Okay.
How many goals did Louis Eriksson have over his 5 years with the Canucks? Remember, it's a 6-year deal, but his 6th year is going to be in Arizona. In Arizona this year.
Okay, so Adam is going to say the total number of goals.
Total number of goals in the 5 seasons he spent with the Canucks.
I want to know what he had year over year. I think the total number of goals, 5 seasons?
Yeah.
23.
23. Jesse.
I'm going to go with 19.
19. Okay. Well, he had 38.
Oh. Because he had one good year, I'm pretty sure.
Well, he had like 15 goals 1 year or something.
Oh, okay.
But that works out to roughly over the 5 years. I put it over 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
But over the 5 years, it works out to be about $950,000 a goal.
Oh.
It's a $36 million contract. He hasn't scored yet in Arizona. So thus far, the contract value is $900.
He doesn't have a goal?
He doesn't have a goal in Arizona this year. So $950,000 per goal for this contract.
Yeah, but when he gets his first, he'll lead the team in scoring.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Isn't that nuts?
I wish I hadn't screwed that up. That was a great line.
This is the
Damn.
if you haven't been paying attention, if you just tuned in at this point, it's the top 5 Jim Benning greatest hits.
Louis Eriksson's coming off of a 30-goal season with the Bruins.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Fell off a
Dude,
cliff.
he was good. He was extremely good. He was the most... He, like, for 3 straight years, was voted most underrated player in the NHL, which is wrong. You can't be the most underrated player for 3 consecutive years. Unless you go from not knowing how to skate to scoring 5 NHL goals to scoring 30 to scoring 100.
This poor guy, too, he was a good player, and he's going to forever be the guy who was traded for Tyler Seguin in Boston.
Oh.
And then forever be the guy who signed that massive deal in Vancouver, which, by the way, at the time, I guess you could argue he deserved it. Maybe. It was still high for the time, though.
There were warning signs.
I'm sure Louis had fun with his $6 million a year in North Van.
Man, everybody talks about that one. Remember that goal where it's like, Louis Eriksson scores on his own goal from center ice? On the delayed penalty?
Oh, no.
Oh, man. I don't know if we're allowed to play. Are we allowed to show
I
it?
won't show it because we'll get dinged.
NHL rights
but
issues.
I'll show Steve.
Oh, my.
It's the first thing that pops up.
You can play the audio. You can play the audio, right?
Let's just leave it.
Okay.
Oh, who was that who chased the puck? You tried. Oh, it's in the first period.
Oh,
You got the first goal of the game.
no.
Okay, unpopular opinion. Whoever that was.
Good Branson?
Oh, that's Good Branson.
Yeah.
He could have caught that.
No, he couldn't have.
He could have dove for that.
So just to describe anybody, it was a delayed penalty, I assume. That's why there's no goalie in net. Louis Eriksson passes it back to his own zone to Goodbranson, and the puck goes directly in their own goal. And Goodbranson's head goes headfirst into the goal because he tried to dive and save for the puck.
It looks like a goal from Troy Brouwer. That was another very good contract.
Oh,
Very, very good. Weren't they all signed in that one? Wasn't it the 2016
Yeah, where it's
summer?
like Okposo.
Every deal is bad.
Every deal is bad. Okay, so by the way, that was the disastrous 2016 July 1st.
Ugh.
We're going to move forward a couple of years to the most disastrous July 1st in Vancouver Canucks history.
Is this number 1?
No, it's number 2.
Oh my God.
Guys, $24 million. 8 total years in term. Antoine Roussel and Jay Beagle. Each of them got 4 years and $12 million. They were shipped off with number 3 on our list, Louis Eriksson, for Connor Garland, who was a good pickup, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who's a good player, but not matching his contract. That's fair, right? So Antoine Roussel
It's nice.
and Jay Beagle were brought in to be depth options. Now, here's the problem. You spent $6 million a year on depth options. That should cover your fourth line minimum.
Dude, they followed the Dave Nonis with the Leafs playbook to a T.
Just lock up depth.
They followed the wrong Dave Nonis playbook.
So,
They followed it to a T.
now,
Hey, you know what we need? We got to bolster that third line.
right, and they got to be defensive. So they got Roussel, who is a penalty kill specialist, and they got Jay Beagle, who's a guy who got lucky and won the cup with the Capitals. And
Did he win the cup with the No, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
Did he?
He did win the cup with the Capitals.
In 2018?
He was coming off the cup win with the Capitals.
Oh, and that's why he got all the money.
Yes.
Oh, I thought he punched out before they won.
Oh, no, he won. Now, I'm going to throw a random set at you. It's called goals. Okay?
Okay, computer boy.
All right. Now, 3 of the 4 years that each of these players were signed to were served with the Canucks, Jesse and Steve.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? How many goals did Antoine Roussel have in the 3 years that he played for the Vancouver Canucks?
I'm going to say 17 and a bite
What's a bite?
with your teeth.
Okay.
What?
I don't know.
I don't know what that
He's a
means.
rat.
Oh, he's a rat. Okay, yeah.
Oh.
He's a jerk to play. Jesse, what about
He
you?
is, though.
Hot take.
Jesse.
You said 17. I'm going to say 14.
Steve is correct with 17 goals.
Oh,
No way!
nice.
Wow!
And let me add,
I nailed it.
2 more in the playoffs, too.
Hey!
Jay Beagle, 3 of 4 years of that $12 million deal.
Mm-hmm.
How many regular season goals did Jay Beagle have?
20.
I was gonna
20.
say I'm going to go first. 23.
Oh.
Bummer.
Actual retail price?
6 goals.
Oh,
What?
no.
And 1 playoff goal, and I'll never forget that one because I said that was the shittiest contract they'd ever signed, and Vancouver Canucks fans, after he scored in overtime in like the second round, were like, see? Worth the money. Yeah, sure.
And that would be his only goal in that playoff run.
That's right.
17 games, 1 goal.
Now, please don't look up any more stats, Jesse, because...
No, I pulled up the contract.
All
so I
right,
can
cool.
see all Jay Beagle's
Just run this out. Now, regular season, the Canucks paid out 3/4 of both deals. That works out to 18 of the $24 million. For both of these players, that's roughly $782,000 per goal.
Why do we go?
Some of the most expensive goals in the NHL. Now, you might say, hey, Adam, these are defensive pieces. They're not supposed to score. To which I say, yes. However, one does not allocate $6 million a year to an average of 7.6 goals per year.
How many Philip Deneaus do people think there are?
Right. Thank you.
If you check the census, there's 1.
Yes. Yeah. And
Oh my God.
now, lastly, and this is perhaps the most, and this didn't occur in July, unfortunately, but had it been a normal season, it would have.
Mm-hmm.
The most disastrous offseason is of all time is the season before last, right after the COVID Cup. And the perfect tweet was, the Canucks aren't going to lose Markstrom, Tanev, Toffoli, and Stetcher, are they? And they lost Markstrom.
For nothing.
They lost Tanev.
Oof.
They lost to Foley,
who they had just acquired
and spent a lot to get, and they lost Stetcher. Now, let's take a look around and see how that went. Because remember, at the time, Jim Benning just ran out of time to move money. That's right. He couldn't get rid of Beagle and Roussel and Louis Eriksson. The previous two and the previous three players I mentioned are the reason that these guys couldn't stick around, by the way. Just throwing that out there. They'd come off a second round surprise. Like amazing. Things were rolling. So Markstrom had a bit of a bad year in Calgary last year, but he's now top 5 in every major goaltending category in the entire NHL. Tanev anchoring that same Calgary defense that's crushing it this year. So fair enough. Tyler Toffoli last year got out to an early season lead in the NHL in goals last season. He finished last season with 28 goals in 52 games. That's a 44 goal pace. And need I remind you, he went to the Stanley Cup final.
How many of those goals were against the Canucks? I need to know.
I have no idea. How would I find that?
I'm pretty sure. I think if you went to his game log from last season, because I'm almost positive Tyler Toffoli had more goals against the Vancouver Canucks last year alone than Jay Beagle ever scored as a member of the
That's
Vancouver
true, because he
Canucks.
had one game where he had a hat trick, and then 2 other games. I think one game where he scored 2 goals, and then another one where he scored 1 goal. So right there, that's
baby.
6.
All right, let me see. I'm looking 2020, 2021. For some reason, ESPN does not have the game logs before this season.
It was like the Kessel-era Leafs playing against Tyler Seguin's Bruins every night.
Ooh.
Every single night. Here's a goal. Here's a goal for you. You want a goal? Here's another goal. You want a couple goals? Here's a couple goals. Oof. We don't need to look this up. It's okay.
And
it's bad.
Special mention to Jim Benning for drafting Jake Virtanen above William Nylander and Nick Ehlers.
Oh, I was so happy.
That wasn't number 1. It was that was 6th for me.
Oof. Whoa. Okay, so here's what I love. Now we get to talk about what didn't make the list.
What didn't make the list?
What was the player's name? Who was the Russian defenseman they had who Jim tried to sign to a contract that was illegal?
Oh, jeez, I have no idea.
Remember that?
I do remember that, but I don't know his name.
He tried to sign him to an entry-level contract that was too many years, and as a result of having to swat the contract down, the National Hockey League had to issue a memo to all the NHL teams. Hey guys, just to remind you, here's what the rules are. They had to say, here's what the rules are.
There's also that clip floating around of James Duthie talking to Jim Benning at the draft, and I think it was one of Jim Benning's first drafts because it's James Duthie talking at the draft and not somebody from Sportsnet. So it was a while ago, and he's like, Jim, what would you say that you're in the middle of? And Jim just says, nope. Like, would you say it's a rebuild? Nope.
No, we're a team. That one's Pierre Dorian. Jesse found it. I don't
think this is it.
No?
No.
I believe it was Nikita Tremkin.
Is it? It was Nikita Tremkin? I don't think this is the time, though. This is something else.
So this is while I was telling that story, I'm like, wait, this might actually be 2 separate things that I'm thinking of. So he tried to sign Nikita Tremkin to a contract that the NHL had to swat down because it was illegal, right?
Yes.
So that one's correct. The other one was, and he got fined for tampering with PK Subban.
Oh, yeah. PK Subban, Stamkos, and somebody else, too. They were going after...
I don't remember.
He said he was going to pitch Stamkos. He was going to offer...
That was 2016.
Yeah, he was going to pitch... that in one radio interview, he said that. Subban, Stamkos, and somebody else he was going to go after. I remember it.
The Vancouver Canucks GM, Jim Benning, was fined $50,000 by the league on Tuesday for tampering. The charges stem from comments Benning made on the radio last week about Stamkos and Canadiens defenseman PK Subban. So it was just those two.
Just the two. I thought that was
Benning's made comments about his desire to pursue Stamkos on Thursday, 2 days before teams are permitted to start discussions with unrestricted free agents. That's funny.
So, okay, I have this from CalgaryPuck.com. So you can add Nikita. Okay, not a lot has gone right for the Canucks recently. You can add Nikita Tremkin's contract to the list. The Canucks tried to sign him earlier than they did, but to a 3-year deal. It was a contract that was rejected by the NHL because it was not in accordance with CBA rules. The NHL subsequently sent out an email blast, so I was right, to the league that wasn't exactly flattering for Canucks management. The email was sent to Benning, but all the league's GMs and AGMs were CC'd. In it, the NHL pointed out that Tramkin's date of birth is August 30th, 1994. And by CBA rules, it means he's 22 years old. Players who are 22 or 23 are to be signed to 2-year entry-level deals, not 3. Simply, age as assigned by the CBA is the player's age on September 15th of the calendar year in which he signs a contract. So he didn't know the rules.
And listen, you don't have to know every rule, but your team needs to.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the GM? See, I don't think this was him. Who was the one who tried to offer sheet Ryan O'Reilly and did it wrong? That was Calgary, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seem to remember that. That feels right.
God, his greatest hits are so good.
They're good. They're good. And there's more. You said there was a Troy Brower contract.
No, that was Calgary as well.
That was a bad deal. I remember that one. So anyway, with that, we say goodbye to the Jim Benning era in Vancouver. I'm happy for Canucks fans. I'm happy for the hockey guy. I'm happy. This is good. I will be entertained if it's Marc Bergevin.
Oh.
I got 2 names. Also, yeah, that hockey guy released a video last night. Like, as soon as this happened, go watch it. It's very good.
Okay.
He's very happy. He's in a great mood because he's hopeful now. That's all you want for Canucks fans is there to be hope at the end of the rainbow. And now there is. Now you can look at it and be like, oh, there might be a pot of gold there.
One hell of a rainbow.
Yeah, so go watch that video. I got 2 names for you guys.
Let's go.
1, Jim Rutherford.
Okay.
Well, that's interesting.
Oh, as a potential next GM.
Next GM.
He's been rumored for every job.
I think it's going to be Jim Rutherford or one of the Sedins.
Nah.
They're still there. They didn't get fired in all this chaos.
They are. Jim Rutherford can make some sense because dude is already in the Hockey Hall of Fame. So you bring him there understanding this is a short-term gig and your job is to teach the Twins as much as possible.
Yeah, they're supposed to get more involved, but I think it's a mistake to throw them into this.
I think the Aquilinians make a mistake.
Well,
I think next in line is either Jimmy or the Sedins.
I think the real mistake is throwing them to the Wolves now.
Exactly.
If you at least put a buffer between...
They didn't train these guys with the proper guy.
No, so they need to now. This is where they start.
Okay, so how soon after today are the Sedins, one of the Sedins, the GM of the Vancouver Canucks? Because that's just where it's going to go. I don't think there's another choice in Vancouver for eventual GM.
By 2025.
Okay. They can
By
keep waiting.
2025.
By off-season 2025.
But you agree that that's what's going to happen?
Yes.
Okay. It's an eventuality.
Yeah. May, June, or July 2025.
Okay, here's my question. Are they ever able to offload Oliver Ekman-Larsson's contract?
No.
There's a buyout. I think that happens.
Is that a buyoutable contract?
Not really.
I think some guy comes in, whoever comes in is like, we're just going to buy it out
This
in
ain't-
3 years, 4 years, from now.
This ain't Braden Holtby. This isn't, oops. Shouldn't have signed this goalie to this little deal. Oops. No, this is a little bit bigger than an oops. This is not a stain on the carpet. This is the living room is on fire. This is not good.
They would have been out of this. This year's lost anyway. All they had to do was keep the 3 guys that I mentioned.
Yeah.
Points 3 and 2 in my top 5 list. Keep them.
And what a much more appealing job for prospective GMs if they look at this upcoming summer and they go, oh, I
can
got
fix
all
this.
the cap space in the world? This is easy. Convince people to come to Vancouver. That shouldn't be too hard. And now all of a sudden you got to figure out, that has to be priority number 1. You're rehabilitating Elias Pettersson. You're rehabilitating Brock Besser. You're trying to mend fences with JT Miller and Bo Horvat, and you're trying to build Quinn Hughes' confidence, and you continue to develop Höglander and Podkolzin. And how far down the priority rung is getting Oliver Ekman-Larsson to play well? Get rid of him. Do you want me to expand on get rid of him?
I don't know if you can get rid of him.
Yeah.
Trade him. Buy him a ticket that goes somewhere that is not the city he's currently in, and then wish him luck. You don't even have to do that last part. It's like a phone number on when you send someone an e-transfer.
He's there. There's no getting rid of him. He's there. The contract's too much.
We didn't even mention Tyler Myers.
Oh, I know. I thought about it on the list, but I'm like, that's not even top 10. Yeah, it's a bad contract.
It ain't good.
Now, with regards to the Leafs and Jets last night,
Are we doing
We're
this?
going to do Philly?
Yeah, we're not doing Philly?
Probably do
we
the
are
firing after the fire.
Do you want to do the
Yeah,
firing?
clump the firing.
Okay,
together.
all right. Well, Alain Vigneault was let go.
And Michel Therrien.
And Michel Therrien.
Sorry, future Montreal Canadiens GM Michel Therrien.
It was funny. The NHL Network put up a graphic a couple days ago. The Flyers are in the bottom 5 in basically every major defensive category. They are awful. What happened?
Carter Hart bad. No, dude,
No,
it's
Carter
the
Hart's
Flyers.
very good.
The Flyers can't defend for shit. They're
Is that
terrible.
Alain Vigneault? And not that I'm a Vigneault guy anymore. Like I used to be like, holy shit, this guy's everywhere he goes. Like Vancouver and New York, both of them did really well under Alain Vigneault. But is this just not a really well constructed team?
Yeah, that one. They're too old to be this bad. Like, it's not cute. It's not cute bad. With the Sens, there's at least still an element of, it's cute bad. You know? And with the Habs, you understand it. With the Canucks, they have experienced too much recent success for this to be cute bad. The Flyers are not cute bad. They're bad. This isn't good. This is horrible. And they made a bunch of moves. And, I mean, the main reason Vigneault got fired is, one, because he should. But the second one is because it's easier to fire the coach than the GM. Chuck Fletcher has not done a good job at the Philadelphia Flyers.
The moves this offseason were awful. There were a whole bunch of lateral moves that weren't improving your team at all.
The only thing I liked was Ryan Ellis, but Ryan Ellis's body, man.
Ryan Ellis has played 4 games so far. Played.
Injuries are... Worry about injuries. That's relevant feedback. That's not luck of the draw. There's elements of it, but when you take an aging player with an injury history, that's relevant information when acquiring a player, and they ignored that relevant information.
Almost like the Vancouver Canucks did with Travis Hamonic and whatever the hell's going on with his... That's an underrated story in Vancouver, whatever the hell is going on with Hamonic's vaccination status. That they signed him to that contract knowing that he'd have to be vaccinated and somehow didn't check. That, to me, is fireable just on its own. But I think when we come back to the Philadelphia Flyers, so I'm sorry for getting us off track there, that the whole thing is, like, where do you start? Do you just tear it down? I mean, you do have what you think is the goalie of the future here.
Mm-hmm.
But, and Ivan Provorov.
You don't trade him. You don't trade him. No.
Konechny you love.
You might trade him.
Yeah. He's got value.
Nothing's glued down there. Like, I don't know what you're keeping. Because the moves this offseason, it wasn't like, hey, we're tearing it down, we're rebuilding. It was, we're still trying to win right now kind of moves. And that's such a bad decision by Fletcher to just kind of stand pat and shuffle the deck and try and just bring in new guys who are going to make the team good now. Because none of it worked, because you need to make a decision as to just moving the big pieces and bring everything back to zero and then building up again, because the Flyers haven't been very good.
It's so unreal that they were the hottest team in the NHL heading into the COVID pause.
Mm-hmm.
They were unbelievable. They were so good, and there's a reason why I think I picked them to go to the final in the bubble, because heading in to the pods, they were so good. They did okay, but they've
fallen off, man. They're terrible.
Yeah.
The Flyers being good is a pre-COVID memory.
Yeah.
It's not a good situation. It's not a good, but they have players, like they have desirable players. So if whoever they bring in to coach does a good job, they could conceivably turn it around. But if they don't, then you got to get as many assets as you can for these players. And is Chuck Fletcher the guy you want to entrust that responsibility to? I don't know if it's a great idea. I'm not rooting for people to be fired, by the way. Like, this is when players get traded, when coaches get fired and when GMs get fired, it's a relevant topic. It's fun to discuss because you get to use your imagination. But I'm not like, fuck yeah, Hope this guy loses his livelihood. That's super dope. That's a thing that I'm super excited about.
No.
I just look at the job they've done because this is sports.
Mm-hmm.
Are they good or bad? That's all it is. And look at the Flyers.
They're bad.
The proof is in the pudding. This isn't me being mean. This is me making a casual observation that they suck. They're the worst. They're the coldest team in the NHL right now in a league that includes the Coyotes and Sabres and Sens. You got to be ashamed of yourself. Wait, no, sorry. You know what's funny? They're second coldest because the Islanders are actually the coldest.
Their situation's been awful. But so Mike Yeo is going to be the coach of the Flyers, who has a very checkered past, checkered record.
Is he interim?
I believe he's interim because he's on the bench there in the Flyers. If I have that correctly, he was an assistant. They just made him interim head coach.
They had like 3 recent head coaches on the bench. It was Vigneault, Therrien, and Yeo.
Yeah, so Therrien's gone and Vigneault's gone, and now Mike's going to take over. And like, if you want to talk about a history of losing, there's the guy who was fired, and then the St. Louis Blues went on to win the Stanley Cup.
I remember that. I remember him basically coming out and going, if I don't win, I'm going to lose my job. And then a couple of games later, the Blues were like, yep, okay. Mike Yeo is not the guy. Like, Bruce Boudreau is a jovial, fun guy who gets offensive players going and then runs his course. And then it's time after about 4 years. Yeah. Mike Yeo is an 18-month usually guy.
Okay.
Maybe he's a good assistant, but man, it didn't go well.
All Alain Vigneault needs to have a competitive team is one of the top 10 goalies of all time. And then he's set.
That's true. Luongo and Lundqvist, you're right.
All I need is one of the best goalies of all time, and I'm gold.
And some of the best, like 2 of the best players in Vancouver. Like, they were amazing.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, all I need is like a Hart Trophy candidate. And with Mike Yeo, he's getting dangerous. I really don't like picking on this person because he seems like a lovely man. But I don't want...
Yeah, these aren't personal attacks. It's just we're looking at his track record as a head coach in the NHL.
I'm not even talking about Mike Yeo.
Okay.
I'm talking about Willie Desjardins.
Oh, no!
He's getting into Willie Desjardins territory because the last time he became an NHL head coach, I was like, but how come?
In LA, right?
Yeah, and like politely.
With
I wasn't
Kovalchuk.
like, this is stupid. I was like, how come?
And you said, Kovalchuk could just look at him and go, who are you?
Yeah, Ron Swanson. I know more than you. Like, hey, Ilya Kovalchuk, here's how you play hockey. How many NHL regular season wins who are you? Who are you? If Mike Yeo doesn't work out in Philadelphia, I mean, assistant coach in the NHL is like, that's a high-ranking job.
Sure is.
And that's probably the highest rank he should have. Because I think we're done here.
And to be fair,
with that whole head coach thing.
He's probably not in there to be the guy. He's probably in there just
interim.
To fill it for now.
Yeah.
Mr. Right Now.
Yeah.
The advantage that he has over Willie Desjardins is at least he's not being randomly brought into the team and everyone goes, who the fuck are you? It's at least he's been there for a couple years.
And he's the only guy that's left who has head coaching experience. But let's hope they don't. I don't know. There's so many candidates out there right now. It seems like it would be an odd choice just to give Yeo the job. Also, This is the Flyers' 6th head coach in 7 seasons. If you guys didn't realize how much turnover there is in Philadelphia.
When was Chuck Fletcher hired?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I'd have to look.
Actually, no. I was never mind. It was relatively recently.
Vigneault, Scott Gordon, Dave Haxtell, Craig Berube, Peter Laviolette. And now Mike Yeo.
Man.
6 and 7. Not great in Philly.
Sorry, I'm looking something up. I'm looking something up for everyone who's like, oh, Steve, I don't know. Chuck Fletcher, come on, you're being kind of mean. So
who is saying that?
No, I'm just imagining. No, because, hey, what did Chuck Fletcher ever do to you? Well, it's, you know what? I just don't like seeing my friends getting picked on. And the Philadelphia Flyers fans are my friends. So I didn't like that time. I didn't like that he did this to my friends. He traded Robert Hagg, a 2021 first and a 2023 second for Rasmus Ristolainen this past July. I didn't like when he did that to my friends. I thought that was very mean that he did that to my friends. Dude, that's horrible. Anyway, okay, here's what I would like to popularize. Firing GMs as frequently as coaches.
I think you want some, because those are management positions more so than coaching within the organization. So you want some stability. You want to give guys a chance. With coaches, it seems like you can swap guys in and out because it's about getting the players going. Because NHL players know how to play hockey. It's about other things, more about strategy and getting them motivated. But with management, you're still running a business, and you want some stability in your upper management roles. So that's why GMs will get the longer.
Can I be honest with
Let's
you?
not fire guys.
I'm so bored with the Flyers. I'm
bored with their irrelevance.
I'm bored with their irrelevance too. Where are the Philadelphia Flyers, man?
You let the Winnipeg Jets become the Flyers.
Yeah, the Flyers used to be scary.
That team where I'm like, ugh, hate you.
They were I'm just so bored.
Yeah.
I'm listening to you guys talk. I'm like fucking Chuck fucking Fletcher, the guy that led Minnesota to various first round exits for a better part of a decade.
That's another thing.
Like,
why him?
I know. What is this? Is this what we're doing? Oh man, and Flyers fans must be bored of it too. Like, this sucks. I remember when Giroux and Voracek were tearing people apart. Those are still players, by the way. They're still playing hockey. What happened?
2018, by the way, is when Chuck Fletcher was hired. He was fired in April from Minnesota and then hired in December by Philly.
And then Minnesota had that short run with, who was it? What was his name? That Michael Russo absolutely dismantled. Do you remember that? Who was the guy in between Minnesota's GM now and Chuck Fletcher?
Oh, Paul Fenton?
Paul Fenton. What a wild time that was. Okay.
And last note, like, just to back your point there, Adam, the thing that really illustrated, hey, maybe it's on the players and not the coach, was when they lost to Tampa and they finally got their coach fired. Because Tampa, they illustrated very well on 32 Thoughts, the podcast.
Yeah, this was pretty damning.
How they broke down Tampa's schedule and how they're coming in off of 5 games in 8 nights. And this was the schedule loss for the Tampa Bay Lightning. They were supposed to lose this game coming into Philly. What was it? 2 nights ago. You're supposed to lose this game. It's on the road. And they go in there and they score 7 goals. And everybody on the Flyers looks terrible, and Tampa looks like the greatest team ever. And that was it. And I don't know how you look at that and say, it's the coach. Nah, it's the coach and the players. They allowed 7 goals.
Who put the players there?
The GM put the players there. The GM put the coach there.
Yep. Ho, 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 everyone. Let me ask you a question. You don't have to answer, but it's a serious question. Let's talk about the down there region. Is it clean? Do you feel like you're prepared with the right tools to keep it clean? Do you have access to the Performance Package 4.0? Because listen, if you go to manscaped.com right now and use that code DANGLE, 20% off and free shipping right now. Also, you should take advantage of this. This is really cool. The just launched Ultra Premium Body Wash and a 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. Do I need to do this to my hair once? Yes. Twice? No. It's taken care of. Done. Easy. And here's the thing about the Performance Package 4.0. It includes this, and this is important, the Crop Preserver, the Crop Reviver, which is the anti-chafing ball deodorant, moisturizer, and toner. They're all in there. It's time to keep your North Pole feeling and smelling fresh. You'd be crazy not to take advantage of the 20% off and free shipping afforded to you by using the promo code DANGLE at manscaped.com. Again, that's 20% off and free shipping with the code DANGLE at manscaped.com. 20% off, free shipping, manscaped.com. Use that promo code DANGLE. Clean up your nuts and make Santa proud this year. Balls. All right, can we talk about that Leafs game?
Yeah.
Can I ask you what the score was?
6-3.
It was 6-3, right?
Yeah.
Because I didn't actually know. I didn't even look it up.
Listen, the Leafs lost.
Oh, without question. Now,
It was a good loss.
Yeah. No.
I mean, I
We
think
can argue
had they had a better goalie, second half of back-to-back and the younger goalies in there, I don't think he was that good.
The second goal was awful.
Yes.
That can't go in.
Yes.
But other than that, I thought it was a bit of a shooting gallery. for 10 minutes. Like the Leafs just let the game get away from them.
Yeah.
They're still in it?
They were still in it.
But that's not really the story. Yes, the Leafs lost. Yes, they didn't play their best. Fair enough.
Sure.
What happened Saturday night was that their goalie took a run from Foligno. What happened?
Campbell.
Yeah. Campbell took last night, the same thing happened again with Wylde. And then Neal, and this is where it all is going to kick off. Neal Pionk, knee on knee, Rasmus Sandin.
We're probably going to get an update at some time during today. It does not sound good. We're not going to see Rasmus Sandin for a long time.
And he was playing so well.
We were talking about it before the show, and Adam's like, oh, done for the season. I was like, no way. I said 4 to 6 weeks. Adam said done for the season. And I think Adam is going to be closer to right than I am.
I was just right in between. I said they're basically off in the entire month of February. He probably comes back mid-March.
Isn't that this show, though? Adam opinion, Steve opinion, right opinion?
Kind of is. Yeah.
Isn't that this entire show?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the knee on knee, Adam, you're saying?
Well, so it starts off a chain of events.
Well, I thought it started with Matthews and Dubois.
Well, so, okay. I guess, so that, on its own, the Matthews-Dubois thing, we can
go
start there.
on Pornhub.
Could go on
Because of
Pornhub. It
how
was
much
hot.
he rode him.
There was a lot of, it was almost like somebody dying in Halo.
I didn't
and
think
then
that
they
was
just,
necessary.
You know the Halo thing?
Yeah, that's better.
Where they sack you when you
Teabag.
Oh, yeah.
player-
See? You're on the same
Teabag the
line
guy.
as me. Yeah.
So, okay, I guess we could start there because the reason for me that the Matthews-Dubois thing is just Dubois being a pain in the ass. And he's had a really great year, come back and done great. Patrick Laine, by the way, has 3 goals.
Well, he's in
Patrick Laine, who was brought up a lot on the broadcast. Did you guys hear that?
No.
Okay. No,
I don't always watch with the sound on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to pay attention to too much shit. Like, I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah, he's only played 9 games. That's not fair. Pierre-Luc Dubois, as having this year, jumps all over Matthews. Obviously, he knows that's going to piss the Leafs bench off, right? Starts to get testy. One might even say testically.
Yeah.
That's where they were, right on his Matthews shoulders.
That's what he put on his numbers.
Yeah, that's right.
You want a manscaped ad right here?
It's a perfect time to break into balls.
Pierre-Luc Dubois!
He rode him,
Yeah,
and that's where everything started because the stupid referees couldn't get a hold of the game from that point on.
So they give them coincidental minors,
Yeah.
and I think if you're a Jets fan, you could even admit it probably shouldn't have happened.
It's like me slapping Jesse 5 times, and then Jesse slaps me back once.
No,
and we
no.
both get 2 minutes for
no, it's
slapping.
me
grabs your
going. It's
hand.
me going. Hey, stop that!
Yeah.
Yeah, hey. No.
Jesse ties up your hand to stop you from slapping him a 6th time. That's what happened. And so
coincidental.
Let me go George Carlin with this. Here's a list of people who ought to be fired. Like, that's just what this show is. Add Brad Meyer to the list. You suck at your job, buddy. You put people in danger every time you get on the ice. You're a terrible ref. Feel bad. Feel bad. You suck.
What can happen, as we have seen with Vancouver Canucks fans, so go with teams. When teams don't feel like the refs are going to treat them fairly, they start to take things into their own hands. Now, I'm not going to excuse what happened with Spezza because I think that was a shitty hit, and we'll get to it in a minute.
I love Jason Spezza a lot.
But
wait, we're not doing
getting
it now?
there. We're talking.
No. Okay.
There's so much more.
Pionk Sandin really bothers me.
Yeah.
The Pierre-Luc Dubois Matthews thing, that's a guy going after a star player when they're already getting fucking smashed, and him going, hey, fuck you guys, we don't even have to see you till the end of March anyway, who cares?
Can I read you something?
Sure.
From Justin Bourne. I guess getting rodeo by Dubois last night doesn't count because he took a penalty too, but random fun fact that surprised me, at 5-on-5 through 26 games, Austin Matthews has drawn 0 penalties.
Guess that means he's a star in the NHL.
Bad. So bad amateur league. NHL players are the highest paid amateur athletes in the world. It's not a professional league. So Mickey Mouse, so rinky dink, so fucking bad. Continue.
The Pionk thing bothers me. And I'll tell you why the Pionk thing bothers me. It's a completely avoidable situation.
He didn't need to do that.
He did not need to do that. It was a choice. We'll get to Spezza in a second.
He's a dirty player.
Before the Jets fans get on me.
Yeah.
Pionk, I think there's a history of this.
Yeah, he's the guy who tried to hit Marner when the net was empty and got nothing for it. And this is what we talk about this every fucking show. Is players aren't held accountable, and then they continue to not be accountable. And the NHL goes, I don't get it. This is why you're so far down the depth chart of relevance in North America. You fucking suck. It's barely a sport. Have some fucking pride in your product. For Christ's sake. Horrible. I work for the rights holder. Imagine what everyone else is saying. It's so shameful. So fucking bad. So fucking bad.
Julian McKenzie tweeted out today that in the MLS, you can ask one question of the officials after the game. He's like, it's not perfect, but at least they got something.
Jesse brought up the fucking Marner Pionk thing, so I'm mad again.
Okay, did you hear what I said?
No, I didn't.
Okay, I need you to.
Yeah.
I do need you to be. I know you're heated, and I'm cool with that. Julian McKenzie brought up that in the
what did Julian say?
brought up that in the MLS, you get one question for the official. So the media is allowed to ask one question of the official.
So the NHL is below MLS. So I just want to find out where they are in relevance. They're below MLS, a professional league. Continue.
Well, the MLB is not any better, right?
Steve,
that's not
the
a
MLB
great.
is shocking.
I'm a big watcher of
but
Leaf
people go to their
fans,
games.
Leaf fan reaction, and I heard you yell about letting the refs speak to the media and all that. But what is going to happen if they speak to the media is they're going to be trained just like the hockey players, and they're going to learn to give answers without giving answers. Because from the top down, Gary Bettman's going to train them to speak like Gary Bettman. So it's not going to solve anything. It's a fundamental problem with the game in the way that the referees are told to handle the game, where their game management skills are terrible and teams are getting away with everything and guys who deserve calls aren't getting calls because the game isn't being called as it's done as it's written down.
It's the philosophy behind how it's
done. It's the entire whatever thing has been crafted in the NHL today in 2021, the way the game is called. That's a fundamental issue with their mentality about the game, where the Stars don't get calls, where things are allowed to be called roughing, where you don't give a game misconduct to Wayne Simmons when he shouldn't be in the box for 10 minutes.
Hysterical.
Where you can just ignore blatant penalties because that guy got one earlier. It's ridiculous.
Brad Meyer should have to pay Wayne Simmons fine. He's so dumb.
He's talking to the media doesn't change their mentality about how to call a game of hockey.
I won't stand for this pessimism.
You think it'll change?
I want the refs to speak to the media because I'm an optimist.
Do you want real change?
Yes, I do.
Okay, do you want to know how to get real change?
Well, here's how I think it will work, Adam. I'm Brad Meyer. I do a shitty fucking job.
Like you did last night.
Yeah, like he did last night when he did a shitty fucking job last night. That was great, Jesse, that you brought up that Brad Meyer did a shitty fucking job. So then reporters have to ask Brad Meyer about the shitty fucking job he did. And then he has to answer questions about the shitty fucking job he did. Specific questions about the shitty fucking job he did. Then what he is forced to do after some time of answering these questions about his shitty fucking job is he stops doing a shitty fucking job. Because I'm not asking reporters to go up to Brad Meyer or any other official and just go and ref better. Why were these coincidental minors? Where were you on the Pionk knee? Why didn't you see this? What can you do next time that will allow you to see it? The puck's right there. How'd you miss it? What's wrong with those questions? What's wrong with those questions? They're perfectly legitimate questions.
Here, how about this? If you don't want your refs talking to the media, why don't they have to file a report like the NBA's refs do?
That's a great thing.
To me, that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
I don't mind
if the NHL.
Hold on. Here's what you could do. You can make the argument that a media circus like Toronto or a media circus like Montreal can sway ref decisions if you let the media at them.
But if you want
to protect the integrity, you got to change the philosophy, and B, you got to go in and make this accountable. Yeah. At least write down why things happen the way that they did.
Yes.
And so I don't necessarily agree that the media needs to talk to the refs, because I don't think they do in the NBA. But I do think they need to be accountable. And I think that's a good, happy medium.
So I agree, but we get nothing. If the NHL owned a restaurant, it'd be called Fuck You Eat It.
Right. So do you want to change? The way to change it, honestly, I think Scouting the Refs was doing this for a while. I'm not sure if they're still doing it. Is there needs to be like a referee analytics scorecard, and someone needs to go deep on hockey.
Baseball does it.
No, but
and
baseball. Someone needs to be the NHL. They need to release.
But they're not going to.
Yeah.
So what we need to do? Somebody's got to do this. Go find this start scorecarding the refs. Seriously.
So what Scouting the Refs does, scoutingtherefs.com, is, I believe, a stat that they keep is when an official calls a penalty, what is the likelihood that the next penalty is going to the other team?
Ooh. Wow.
For everyone, it's pretty fucking high. The scorecards that they have for the umpires, what website does that?
I don't know.
Ah, shoot. Well, what's great about it, it's either a website or a Twitter account, I'm not sure, but what's great about it is the scorecards don't tell you this ump is bad, this ump is good. They just tell you the score. That's what
I'm saying. Score the refs.
So what's great about that, though, is I remember there was an umpire who had a scorecard of over 99% accuracy in a game. It was like 99.3.
For like balls and strikes?
Yeah, that's robotic.
Yeah.
Like it's like he's the Terminator. Mm-hmm. He sees reality in red. Like, it's unbelievable that he was able to do that. But then you get someone like Angel Hernandez, who's barely cracking 90 some nights. So 1 in every 10 calls is wrong? You suck. Go home. It's unacceptable. So anyway, can we apply that to the NHL? Scouting the Refs is trying, and I think it's about time we give that site a little bit more attention.
Yeah, give them some love.
And we start coming up with some more ideas here.
Like, GIF it. Here's the thing. You know when what Tic Tac Tomar does sometimes with his GIFs, where it's like, so-and-so missed this pass. Wouldn't it be great if we got GIFs of refs just missing calls?
Here you are.
Here's a ref from this game missing this call.
And by the way, the reason I'm picking on Brad Meyer specifically...
Well, he's the most recent example.
But also he was one of the officials for Game 2 against the Bruins in 2019, which, because the Leafs keep embarrassing themselves in elimination games, that game gets lost in the ether. That game is the biggest piece of shit in Leafs playoff history in my lifetime.
Why?
It's the biggest non-elimination game piece of shit. Why? It wasn't a hockey game.
Okay,
for
so
God's
a lot
sake.
of
we don't know
people
what you're talking about. I don't remember that.
Don't have photographic memory of Game 2.
I have to look it up.
So I was in the middle of it. So the Bruins beat the shit out of the Leafs. Like literally give me your fucking money, beat the shit out of the Leafs from opening puck drop till the end of it. And eventually, Nazem Kadri said, you know what? I don't really fucking like this anymore. And he hits Jake DeBrusk with a hit that you can't do. Shouldn't have done it. Got suspended because he should have been. But it didn't fall out of the fucking sky. It didn't just happen. He didn't he didn't pull a Charlie Day and go, wild card, bitches, and just do it. I'm not going to lie, what he did against the Blues last year, he did kind of do that.
Yeah, he
actually.
did.
But
it was kind of
that was out of the blue.
Yeah, we're winning.
But
You know
what was the
I'm gonna
buildup?
do?
Tell me what
Get
the
kicked
buildup
out.
was, Steve.
The buildup was Jake DeBrusk hitting Patrick Marleau dangerously, plus 50 minutes of fucking nonsense leading into that. The Leafs kicked the Bruins up and down the ice in Game 1. They were the better team. I'll still argue that for most of the series, they were the better team. Game 7 can go fuck itself. I really can't believe this goddamn team sometimes. But everything leading up to that hit that led to a suspension was because of the shitty 50 minutes that preceded it. That game last night descended into a joke. It was a perfectly fine hockey game that the Leafs seemed perfectly content in trying in. Because, I mean, geez, when we were younger, teams down 4 goals, they're not trying to come back. They're trying to beat the shit out of you and run you out of the building. Leafs score 2 goals heading into the third, and it's the Leafs. You're thinking, well, we can do this.
Yeah.
When they got that 5-on-3, it was like,
this could happen.
Couple quick ones. This is a hockey game.
When Wayne Simmons took that cross check off the faceoff, I was like,
it was a one goal game. It was 1-goal game.
It was a 2-goal game,
Yeah.
and like everyone's like, oh yeah, he's sticking up. I was like, Wayne, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Like it was a winnable game. It was a stupid penalty in a winnable game. So if he doesn't take that penalty, which would have been, it was a dumb thing to do, and Matthews draws a penalty on Dubois and takes none because he didn't deserve one, who knows? But I'm not trying to say the Leafs lost because of officiating. They didn't. And I need Jets fans to understand that so that they join us in this conversation here. The reason that game got so fucking out of hand is because of what preceded it. It doesn't drop out of the sky. And the final straw, the Matthews thing with Dubois is frustrating, but it's something you highlight
It's
after
hockey.
the game.
It happens.
And it's hockey, and it happens. But then it's whenever there's a list, there's something about looking at a piece of paper and there's more than one line on it.
Mm-hmm.
And Pionk does what he does to Sandin, and it's Sandin, who may be the youngest guy on the team. Like, I feel like it does matter. Like, it matters to the guys. Dubois, Pionk hits Sandin.
Mm-hmm.
The bench flips the fuck out.
Yep.
Did you see the bench shot?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And who flipped out the most? Who was standing out like a
Spezza.
sore thumb? Spezza.
Yeah.
Loses his mind.
Mm-hmm.
Goes over the bench. Not a guy high up on the list of players I ever expected to see the red mist from. But he goes on the ice and does a genuinely crazy thing.
Which is unacceptable.
Yeah, and
I'm sorry. Hold on. We need to stay. That hit is dangerous and wrong.
it's unacceptable, and it's especially unacceptable for Jason Spezza and the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I'll tell you why, all Leaf fans who are going to get very upset. What did that hit remind you of? What did it remind everybody of? It reminded everybody of what happened to John Tavares in Game 1 against the Montreal Canadiens. Here's the super important asterisk there. That was a fucking accident. Corey Perry kneed Tavares in the head and didn't mean to. Corey Perry's not exactly a player you give the benefit of the doubt to.
But on that one,
But
it's close.
everybody is like, oh, for God's sake.
It's bad luck.
Yeah, and like Nick Foligno fought him, and he didn't know. The players on the ice genuinely didn't know. We assumed that at the time, and then the Amazon documentary confirmed it. For Spezza to go out and do something very similar to a prone player on purpose is dirty, and he's going to get the book thrown at him, and it's because he should.
But that doesn't happen if the referees just look at what happened with Pionk and Sandin and he just calls a penalty.
The likelihood
And
of
he
it
throws
happening
Pionk out of the
decreases.
game.
The likelihood of it happening decreases.
Right.
And I was doing a little bit of lip reading, and maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I was. Paul Maurice was losing his mind at the end of that game. And he was losing his mind on Clifford in particular. And I think he was calling him a goon.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure he was calling Kyle Clifford a goon. And what I was
hold
saying...
on. What bothers me is the coach should not be talking to the players on the other team.
You're talking to the bench? It's rinky-dink.
I think that we heard throughout the pandemic when there's no fans in the stands, we heard all of the coaches talking to everybody and all the refs talking to everybody. So my
Paul
question...
Maurice's fire burns hot. No, here, wait though.
Okay.
So he was calling Kyle Clifford a goon, and I was in my video last night. I was just sort of theorizing, like, okay, there's this website scouting the refs. The coaches know who the refs are and they know their tendencies. If I'm Sheldon Keefe, I go, fuck, it's a Brad Meyer game. Kyle, you're up. Because this game's going to get out of hand. Or there's a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Well,
so
that's what Wayne did.
So why
Wayne did.
is the NHL okay with the product on the ice? Why are they okay with not
good
implementing something where the referees are held accountable? Why are they
question.
okay with everything that happened last night?
When
Do you have an answer for that?
So I think a good answer to that should be based in intention. So why does the NHL do this? Well, because their intent is to accomplish X or Y or Z. Jesse, I don't think there's any intention. I just think they're bad at their jobs. They're bad at their jobs. They
It's
make
yet
a bad
another
product.
example of a leadership group that needs to go.
Mm-hmm.
25 years, 30 years at the helm. You've done your time. Time to go.
Yeah.
I mean, it was time to go after the Kyle Beach stuff. Probably time to go before that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's time to go. And Jesse, your question is the question that everybody wants answered. I don't know if there's no answer. There's no real reason why this needs to be this way. There's no reason. And, I don't know what the oversight is for referees if Gary calls him and goes, Brad, listen, you didn't have a great game last night.
Imagine.
I don't think it happens that way. So my question is, who do the referees actually report to?
There's a head of officiating.
Who's that?
A ref.
Well, and the thing is, like, we mentioned, and somebody DM'd me this, and I'm going to steal your point, but I apologize. I can't remember who I get a billion of them. This guy said, listen, you guys mentioned on a previous show about how, these are the best refs we have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He said, what about the IHF? How are their games? There's tons of referees over there. Is the game too fast for them? I'm sure, and I think they do ref things differently.
Mm-hmm.
So I would really love to know, how they do it. What's their strategy? And that would be an anathema to Gary Bettman, whose ego is way too outsized to take anything from the IHF. They hate each other.
Their rules are also different. Like, there's a reason you can't fight in the Olympics because it's against the rules.
I'm not being ridiculous here. Like, call the rule book. I understand that they're not going to always be able to call the rule book. They're going to miss shit. But I do.
But miss it when it's a mistake, not on purpose.
Yeah. Because if they call the knee on knee, the bench doesn't flip out. The bench is flipping out because they're like, hey, what the fuck, Winnipeg and referees, you're not doing anything about this. If something happens on the ice where the referees just call it and there's some consequences, Spezza doesn't get upset.
When a basketball player misses a three-pointer, that doesn't end up on Shacked a Fool because they're like, look at this asshole missing a three-pointer. Most players miss most of their three-pointers. You know what does show up? When you miss slam dunks. No one is there. It's you in the rim. There's no one defending it. Just put the ball in the hole. Happy Gilmore. That ends up on Shackton. Because you fucked up the easiest thing to do in the world. The Pionk knee and the Matthews Dubois thing.
And the Simmons 10-minute misconduct. That should have been
How
a
did you
game.
miss 3 dunks in one game?
What I loved
You
about
suck!
Keep running down the list.
The Simmons thing was hilarious because Steve, you mentioned a couple shows ago about that, the fight cloud where there's like just a bunch of fists and legs, and they literally fought cloud him right into the box.
Yeah,
he was fighting and he's sitting in the box.
Yeah. And by the way, Jets fans who are listening to this, I need to confirm what you think you just heard. There's a bunch of Leaf fans who are saying, why wasn't Simmons thrown out of the game?
No, he's unhinged in these moments, and he needs to get out of there.
Yes. Why wasn't he thrown out of the game? Why wasn't Spezza thrown out of the game?
So I'd like to turn our attention.
God.
What? No, let's back up. Why the fuck wasn't Jason Spezza thrown out of that game?
Not?
I thought he was.
Yeah,
Was he?
I thought he was. Yeah.
Should have been 5 in a game.
I think
Really?
he was. Yeah.
No. I don't think
he was back on the ice.
Was he? I don't see a Spezza penalty in the box score at all, unless I'm missing it. Okay, here's from the third period. Matthews roughing, Dubois roughing. Absolutely hilarious. Wayne Simmons cross-checking on Jansen Harkins. That was the dumb one that cost the Leafs because Scheifele scored in the power play. Wayne Simmons misconduct. Brendan Dillon fighting against Kyle Clifford. Kyle Clifford fighting against Brendan Dillon. Notice how he didn't even bring that up. Jansen Harkins roughing against Michael Bunting. Bunting roughing against Jansen Harkins. Jansen Harkins cross-checking on Michael Bunting. Wayne Simmons roughing against Josh Morrissey. Logan Stanley roughing against Wayne Simmons. Wayne Simmons roughing against Logan Stanley. I don't think Spezza was penalized.
That's
no,
fucking
he
weird.
was not.
Well, then there's another slam dunk you missed, Brad Meyer. Like that's
What are we
that's an
doing
all-time
here?
bad game. That's an all-time bad game.
Wait,
Now,
no. I think we should answer Jesse's question. What are we doing here? Fucking up a game, Brad.
okay.
I shouldn't know your name, but I do because you stink. Stop it.
I want to call it Jesse Pollock because Jesse's really good at trolling Leaf fans.
Yes.
And there's a lot of upset Leaf fans in his replies today. But this tweet just made me laugh because he's like, PLD, Pierre-Luc Dubois, is everything that Winnipeg is as a city. Tough and gritty with some underrated skill. Love this dude so much. Hashtag NHL Jets. And I can understand as a Jets fan, if someone, yeah, for sure it is. And also, he's right. I mean, if you're a Jets fan, how much do you love PLD today? The guy just put his testicles on Matthew's shoulder. Like, hello. I'm laughing at that.
Oh, when Nazem Kadri maybe should have got a penalty against Connor McDavid in overtime that one time, but instead scored a goal.
Oh,
he was a hero in the city.
You love it.
Yeah.
But here's the one thing I'm going to say to Jesse Pollock. And I don't want to start anything.
No, I'm kidding. I like him.
Pierre-Luc Dubois. No, he's great. Pierre-Luc Dubois played exactly one shift in the last 10 minutes of last night's game.
Yeah, and he kneed the goalie during it, I think.
But he played one shift in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Tough and gritty. More like fucking scared and hiding.
Yes.
And if not scared and hiding, then the head coach is scared.
Yeah.
I like, listen, tough and gritty is when things go like that and you step on the ice and you help deal with it. That's tough and gritty.
Let me throw it out there.
Come on.
That's a smart move by Paul Maurice.
Yeah.
That's a smart move.
I still think it's a baby move. You're baby. No, listen. If you want to,
it's a smart move.
I'm down with him doing that to Matthews. I want the Leafs to stick up for Matthews, whatever, that's hockey. But fucking step on the ice, man. Are you kidding me?
Be a man.
That's a business decision. That's a business decision.
I think it's weak. Super fucking
You're telling
weak.
him to be a man, Adam?
Be a man. Be a man. Step up. No, and the thing is like, the bummer thing is that they don't play each other till March 31st. That's a bummer.
Is it a bummer or is it an amazing playoff warm-up?
Oh, it'll be a good playoff warm-up. And these teams don't like each other. Remember like what happened with Ehlers and Thornton last year? And they do not like each other. It's totally cool. Like, I love this. And Jesse, you're great. And I'd really like to, I'd like to put a bet against that game at some point.
Oh, not me.
No, Jesse Pollock.
Oh, okay.
I would love to.
Like,
would you?
What are you talking about?
I would love to do like SDPN versus Bar Down on that one if we can.
Ooh.
Do some sort of like charity thing on that game if we can make it fun and interesting. I'm not sure how we would do it, but donate to a charity of choice or something like that. We can talk to him. But I have to tell you, the Pierre-Luc Dubois not stepping on the ice thing, I'm like, okay. That's a baby move. That's a full diaper move right there. I don't care what anyone says. Yeah, no, come on, guys. You can't call a guy tough and gritty who in the toughest moment of the game isn't playing.
No, it's dangerous for him to be out on the ice.
Because he made it that way.
Yeah.
So step up.
No.
Listen, I merely set the fire. I'm not putting it out.
It wouldn't have been.
He's not putting any. He's in goal. He's making it bigger.
It's a baby move.
He's adding gas to that fire if he's on the ice.
Baby move.
I think
Come
on a lot of nights I'd agree with Adam.
Yeah.
Baby.
I'd agree with Adam on a lot of nights. Like, answer the bell, but the Leafs were towards the end of that game unhinged.
Yeah,
they were unhinged.
Who was a part of that?
The Leafs.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
Oh, like Dubois caused it.
Yeah.
Oh, listen. It's his fault. Yeah. For sure. That's why he was on the bench.
Like, it's the Leafs. Ultimately, it's the Leafs' fault for
I'm
losing.
surprised Pionk played.
Yeah. I'm just saying, man, if you're so tough, like, do you think, hold on, let me ask you this.
They're not.
Marchand starts a fight.
They're not.
Marchand starts a fight.
Sure.
Do you think Marchand is not playing at the end of a game? Marchand's
Depends.
fucking going on the ice.
Nah.
Not depends.
Nah.
No, Marchand is always... Listen, he might be a dick and he might be an asshole to play against.
No.
But Marchand will step on the ice every freaking time.
No, Marchand
PLD.
he'd rib you with his stick and then you never see him again. Because he's that evil.
Yeah. Marchand will fight, but 9 times out of 10,
are you telling me he
he's
won't
just a
play?
rat.
Yeah, he's a little rat.
Oh, he'll play.
That's what I'm saying, guys. Is he going to step on the ice or not? Yes, he will.
PLD did the right thing.
No, he's a baby.
When Brad
That's a
Marchand,
baby move.
When Brad
You're
Marchand,
a baby, PLD.
For the longest time with the Boston Bruins, it's less true now, but for the longest time, especially like 2011, 2012, like the Chara, Lucic Bruins, it was like, you ever see those pictures of like security guards running next to like Kim Jong-un's car? Brad Marchand was the car. Like,
yeah, the car would hit you, and then the guards would surround the car.
Yeah, but it's like if the car had a bayonet on the front. Like, that's
a cattle prow.
Yeah, right. It's him in the middle, and here's Chara, and here's Lucic, and here's Sean Thornton, and here's Adam McQuaid.
Johnny Boychuk.
God, I wonder why he got away with fucking everything.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, because the league, like, again, teams would construct themselves to fight the Bruins, wouldn't be able to do it, and then the league did what? Nothing. It just perpetuates. The NHL has discovered its lot in life, and that is far, far, far down the totem pole of relevance. They don't care.
Can we turn off the alarm?
Sorry.
You don't have to keep putting
Can
it on
I
snooze.
play Steve's favorite video?
Oh, okay. We gotta get to this. You
Let's
gotta
just
get to
do
this.
this. Let's play the greatest video of all time.
baby.
So this is the
explain what
Jets
this is.
winning on home ice. This is the Jets winning on home ice, heading back into the locker room. It's Jets TV, and they tweeted out this 19-second clip.
Okay, let me just pull it up. There you go.
I can't believe you did that so fast.
Hey, boys, is there anything better than beating the Leafs? Hey? Anything better? This goes to this guy.
Now, Steve, what's the problem?
I'm going to play it one more time. One more time.
What's the problem with
Is
this?
there anything better than beating the Leafs? What?
Let him play it. Let him play it.
Loser.
One more time.
Let him play it.
Hey, boys, is there anything better than beating the Leafs? Hey? Anything better? This goes to this guy.
Did you say let's go get fucked up?
The caption on the video, because it's closed caption, it said, let's go be fun and responsible. So shout
That's
out.
really funny.
Shout out Jet social media for captioning it. Very
Yeah,
funny.
honestly, that is again a great troll job.
So what's your
Just
problem
angrily
with the video,
fans.
Steve?
I don't have a problem with the Toronto Maple Leafs being the pinnacle of relevance in this truly irrelevant hellscape. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with Blake Wheeler having fun with it. They were all having fun with Logan Stanley. This is a Logan Stanley clip because he got the fans to go nuts at the end of a game that they won.
Like a gladiator.
Yeah, it was great. I don't have a problem with that.
Good theater.
Some people did. They're like, what are you bragging about? You didn't do anything. What is Logan
guys.
Stanley fighting Wayne Simmons for at the end of a 6-3 win? Why? For the purpose of what? Who cares?
Let the theater happen.
Let the theater happen. It's Blake Wheeler giving. We didn't even talk about he got the silver stick for his 1000th game. It's
the longest fucking ceremony ever.
Yeah.
I jumped out of my couch when I saw Bufflin. So, like, I can only imagine
yeah.
what it was like for all the fans in the stadium. But
exactly. No
the,
wonder they won
the-
by such a wide margin.
the 3-minute clip of and the ceremony was a little much.
The longest ceremony ever.
It was a little long. But this is a Logan Stanley clip. And the only thing that's out of place is Mark Scheifele going, is there anything better than beating the team that we face twice a season under normal circumstances, followed by, like, substitute teachers get a louder reaction than that? I don't know. I just think it's such a loser move. Everyone thinks about the Leafs at every moment of every day. There has not been a Stanley Cup awarded since 1967. It is the Leafs League, and this is just further proof of that. When are they going to stop getting clowned? You know? Like, okay. Let me say this. I know this is dramatic. March 31st is the next time they play.
Jets and Leafs, yes.
So I called it a playoff warm-up.
Yeah.
I promise you the Toronto Maple Leafs lose that game, they're losing in the first round.
If they lose?
If they lose their
What?
next game to the Winnipeg Jets on March 31st, they will lose in the
Why
first
do you
round
believe
again,
that?
and I'll bet money on the other team. Because that is you were just clowned by this team. I hope no matter how good the Toronto Maple Leafs do for the rest of the season, because they're doing really well. I hope no matter how well they do, every now and then they remember this loss and go, fuck. I hope they're as mad about it as the fan base is. I hope they connect to that anger. This is the sort of loss that the Leafs could win the cup this year, and if they never played the Jets again for the rest of the season, they would still remember it next season.
So there was something you used to bring up a lot called the Pionk test. It was a Patrice O'Neill bit.
Yes.
Explain that.
So basically, he tells the story, the comedian, he's passed away. He tells the story from his youth where he was playing a pickup basketball game and there was a stranger there. And one of the guys the stranger who was playing in the basketball game, he kept doing little things to annoy him. And he would step on his shoe and he would bump into him harder than he needed to. And then finally, by the end of the game, he decided, you know what? I'm going to rob you. And he stole his 4X tall Puma suit. So I remember this story. So he stole his 4X tall Puma suit, and the reason he was robbed is because during the game he was given the Pionk test. The Pionk test was, can I rob this guy? Can I take his things without it being a problem? And what he established by doing nothing is, yes, you can. Maybe they don't have to win the game on March 31st on the score sheet.
Thank you.
But they have to prove to this fan base on March 31st they're playoff ready. That's the test. You got guys who are banged up at the end of the season. You want to rest guys heading into the playoffs. I totally get that. It's even smart. You don't rest a single fucking one of them on March 31st. You run the Jets out of Toronto.
Remember this. I like that. Okay.
I'm glad you said they didn't have to win the game, because the puck it's a bouncing puck that does things. Sometimes you just don't win. You could do everything you can to win a game, and you can still not win it.
You either win the game or you make people. You either win the game or you make people forget the score.
Yes, you can. You can win it through trying. You can win the try test in the game. That's something that's entirely in your hands. How much effort you put in. So I hope they win the effort score.
if the Toronto Maple Leafs try against the Winnipeg Jets, they should beat the brakes off them.
So I like that. Okay. All right. With that, should we do the press conference?
Do we have time? It's quite late in the day.
It is quite
late in the podcast.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it. You've heard it here first. Now, are you gonna put money on the Leafs winning that game?
Oh hell yeah! Well,
against the Jets,
they have to prove it to me.
Do you think? Okay, can they prove that before they play the Jets?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, this isn't. They're gonna have other dust ups. They're gonna have other games that get out of hand.
It's a long time till March, you guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if we can predict March.
But Steve is right. You can't have people running over you.
Yeah.
You can't have people running over you and then laughing.
But they also proved it in the game. Like last night, they proved they fought back in every instance that Winnipeg pushed. There was a little pushback. Spezza went overboard. Simmons went overboard. But there was pushback when they got pushed. And that's a different Leafs team that we haven't seen that from the Leafs in past years.
But at the end of the day, the Jets laughed at the end of the game. They were not bothered by the pushback, which means they're a worthy adversary, which means heading into the playoffs, you run your worthy adversary through the Earth's crust.
I'd like to see it.
All right.
On Tuesday, tomorrow night, I'm moving our stream that's usually on Wednesdays and Fridays. We're moving it to Tuesday, and we're going to try it out on YouTube because we are a network of experimentation. So I'm going to try moving my stream to YouTube on Tuesday night at 9:30. It's already scheduled on our YouTube. You could go sit in there and chat with people right now if you wanted to.
I already left a message for you.
Did you?
I told you it's time to resign.
Oh, God. So just to catch you up, it's not even that my seat is like warm or hot. It's on literal fire. I'm at the trade deadline of my final year as GM of the Buffalo Sabres, and I have to win the Stanley Cup this year no matter what. And I need a left defenseman. I need a left winger. So I'm going to go out and do that on the stream. And then we're going to play round 1 of the playoffs. So that could be my last stream ever if we lose in round 1 because it's my last year. So tomorrow night could be the end of my Buffalo Sabres tenure as GM. So we'll see how that goes. 9:30 Eastern p.m. on YouTube.
You think he makes it through, Steve?
I think so because they saw the Sabres are no longer gluten-free.
What? What?
You got mangiapane.
All right, we'll see you Wednesday. Love you.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.